Hey everybody, it's Sean and welcome back to my channel. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you'd like to. And in this video, I am going to show you how I stitched onto the sleeve of this zip-up hoodie using my 8-needle Tajima embroidery machine. So I stitched that onto the sleeve right above the cuff. It's not really where I wanted it, but we'll talk about that later. And then I also stitched onto the left chest of this zip-up hoodie. So stay tuned. This is a list of the supplies that I am using. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments. I will respond to you. Alrighty, so I am going to start with embroidering on the sleeve of this zip-up jacket. I've already ironed a crease so that it's down the center, so I can have a center line for reference. I'm not sure if you could tell or not because the jacket is dark blue, but if I unfold it, maybe you can see that crease right there. So I'm gonna hoop it using my 9cm hoop that is for the Tajima side machine, and I'm gonna just be using some tearaway classic weight stabilizer that I get from All Stitch. So this is the fun part because I don't have bands or anything to hold the stabilizer in place. So I'm going to use some painter's tape and we'll see. And this is just to hold the stabilizer in place until I actually have the sleeve hooped. Now I'm going to put it back there. And which sleeve am I doing? It's the right sleeve. And so I want it above the ribbing, above that little cuff. So I'm going to open the sleeve up a little bit and push this in here. And I'm just kind of feeling to make sure the stabilizer is still in place and over the hoop. Then I want to make sure the little screw that you use to tighten it up is in the center. That's what I'm going to use as my center reference mark. Okay, and so now I'm going to take the top hoop and I'm going to put it on the bottom hoop. And I'm just pulling it up, the bottom hoop up, so that I can make sure that it's on there. And then if I just kind of show up under here a little bit, you can see that it is in there. This is the bottom ring, but the part that you tighten it up is up here. So I am going to have to go through the top sleeve, and I should have just did it the other way, but I'll just go through the top sleeve so that I can tighten this up. And I am saying in my mind righty tighty lefty loosey so that I can tighten it up the correct way. Okay, but just so that you can see, that is the little screw right there that you use to tighten this particular frame up. Okay, and so when I put this on the machine, this part of the sleeve, the bottom, will actually go under the arm where the bobbin is, and then this is going to be on top. Okay, so next we'll head on over to the machine and we'll get it set up on there. Alrighty, so now we are here at the machine and I'm gonna put this sleeve on it. Now I'm just going to sit this part of the jacket over here, and I am going to slide this sleeve up underneath the bobbin. I'm not sure if you can see that I'm sliding it over the bobbin arm. I should say, I'm keep saying the bobbin, but it's the bobbin arm, and that might not be the technical name for it. But I just want to slide it down so I can make sure that it's not, you know, going to be anywhere in the way. So now I have the 9cm hoop on here, but I have my settings at the next centimeter hoop up. I think it's the 15 centimeter is what that 120 is equivalent to, because when I tried it on the tracing for my test stitch, it kept saying that the design was too big for the 9 centimeter hoop. So I just went to the next setting up. I'm using it at 120. My design is just over 2 inches big as far as the width, and it's not even 2 inches tall. So I know that it will fit in this hoop. It's not going to be a problem, but I'm thinking there's probably something in the way that I centered everything that makes the machine think that it's too big. So I have it selected for this particular hoop, and I'm going to hit set. And now this design, I need to flip it, because if I don't flip it, it's going to stitch out just this way. Okay, so I'm going to hit this here little button that has the upside down flower, and that flips it. And this light seems a bit bright. I don't know about that. See if I can make this a little dimmer, if it helps any. I'm not sure if that helps. It might just be the angle that I'm holding this at. But what I'll do, I'll just take it off of here, because I already have the jacket on the hoop. Okay, so that's better on my eyes anyways. So now I have it on the machine. I have it all flipped upside down so that it stitches the way that I want it to stitch on here. Now I'm going to hit set again, and then I'm gonna hit set again. Now this section right here, this is basically the machine showing where you can move it to align it and everything. If you go back here, it's showing where you want it to measure off at. I always keep it right here in the center, because I want to base everything in that hoop off of the center point. So now I'm going to hit set again. This, if I wanted to move the center, I could press this button and move it sideways a little bit. Let me back out just a little bit, and then I could press it back, and did you see how it moved? And what I'm doing is pay attention to where the crosshairs meet, so that you know that that is where the center of your design is going to be at. So now I pretty much, at least I think, I have the design centered where I need it to be at. And so what I'll do now, I'm going to go to the set, hit set again, which is kind of like saying next. And I have the machine set up so that it always does a trace. Tracing is executed. Yes, we're going to trace, and we will see if it bumps anywhere. Okay, let me look at that one more time, because that was kind of in the way. And I am going to just hit back again. I'm going to hit set. Now I want to go back. Okay, now I'll hit set, and then it's going to say tracing executed. And so I'm going to hit yes, and it's going to trace it again. So as long as the center of those crosshairs don't bump into any of the frame, I know I'm good. So now I'm just going to press start, and it's going to start stitching. Now I'm going to hit stop for a second. I'm hitting stop because, as you see, this is where there was like a long tail hanging off. I don't want that to get caught up in the actual design. So I want to go in and clip that out. Okay. Alrighty. So now I've got that extra tail clipped out, and I'm going to resume. And just another side note, I know you'll notice that those jump stitches are not cutting, and I'll tell you it's because up in the settings here, I changed my jump stitches to a 6 because the last design that I was stitching out, I needed the jump stitches to not be so small, because my large satin stitches, the machine was thinking that it was a jump stitch, so it was literally cutting them. So I forgot to change it back, and so I'm just going to roll with it. I'll clip those jump stitches at the end. Next colors. We are almost done. Alrighty, we are finished. And so now that it's finished and I'm sitting here thinking with my sleepy self, I put tearaway on here, and it should have been cutaway. I did not pay attention to it until I started looking like, why is the yellow showing from the edges? Because it didn't do that with the test stitch. Having a human moment. Yep, that's what happened. I didn't use the right stabilizer for it. And so had I used the cutaway stabilizer and actually pressed it down so that, or even used a little adhesive spray or something, which I ain't crazy about, but it would have kept it from shifting and puckering. But it's done, so we're gonna roll with it. The next part, we will definitely use the correct stabilizer. Alrighty, so I am back to the table, and we're gonna take this off of the hoop and see what we're working with here. Guess I gotta go in from up here. So next time I will do it so that the screw is on the bottom so I can reach it without having to go all the way through the sweatshirt or jacket. Oh, and I forgot to take the tape off too. Goodness gracious. I sure did. So let's see what it looks like up under there. Yep, tape stitched up in there. Don't do this, okay? Don't want to have tape up in there. Okay. So let's see here. This is how it's looking. And these little jump stitches, I'm just going to take these little scissors and clip. And it's not a whole lot to clip, so it's not too bad. The next time I will definitely either do a checklist to make sure I don't do the tape, I have the right stabilizer or something, and I was trying to use the tape to kind of get that thread, but I'll do a checklist or something so that I'm making sure that I don't leave the tape on and use the right stabilizer. The stabilizer was just because of rushing, that's all. But this is what I'm talking about, the outline. It's like it shifted or something, because on my test stitch, which is right here, this is my test stitch. It's stitched out really well. So it's not the font, it's the user. I didn't stabilize that correctly. So that will happen if you don't use the right stabilizers, okay? So now that that part is done, I'm going to be okay with this mistake. I think he will be fine with it, and it's not real obvious. Now I'm going to do the left chest, okay? So that's a different design. The left chest, I did a couple of test stitches trying to figure out what I wanted as far as the exact font. And so now that I figured it out, I will get that stitched out now. Alrighty, so for this part, I'm going to use the right material, and I'm going to remember to do each step the way I need to do it. So to start off with, I did have this completely zipped up. And to find the center mark, I did use a measuring tape, and I don't know why I put it away, but I measured from the shoulder and I came down 8 inches. Now, they say to go anywhere from 9 to 7 inches down, and then some people go from the under armpit and divide it in half and then go up to where it would meet at the point coming down. But I just do it I do it like this. I measure it down. Well, it was at 8 and then from that point I make sure my center mark is at 4.5 inches. So that's about right there. Okay, I did use a little bit of chalk that fades real quick to mark my center point, and then I ironed it so that I could see it a little bit better. So when I ironed it, I did fold it in half this way, and I pressed, and then I came back and I folded it this way and I pressed just enough so that I could see the crosses in there. Okay, so I can see where I'm working at. So now I'm gonna unzip this, and I am going to use the Mighty hoop. This is the 5.5 by 5.5, 5.5 by 5.5 Mighty hoop, and I do have my little marks on here. They're not exact, but with certain fabrics I really just can't tell where the center point is with this yet. So I am going to slide this under here, and I'm going to use some, let me straighten this up a little bit. And this is really easy on the zip up because you just unzip it. I'm going to try to do this and try to remember to take the tape off. Okay, so painter's tape until I get those little holders to hold the stabilizer in place, because Mighty Hoops does sell them for their hoops. Now this part I needed to come facing my way, so I'm going to turn it this way, and then I'll just have to remember that I'm reversing the design or flipping the design upside down. So anyways, I'm going to come down here, try to get this so that it's in the center. It doesn't have the grids for you to feel, so you kind of have to eyeball it really good until you get the hoop, and then you're like hoping that you don't have to rehoop it, and that is not quite right. I need this to come down a little bit, so I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. And let's see how it is now. Wait a minute. I thought it was folded up in there. Now it's too far up. So we're going to get this together. My goal is to get this as centered as possible according to these points in this hoop here. Okay. So now it's too far up. I need to bring this that way a little bit, maybe. These are magnetic hoops. It is centered there. It's almost centered there. And for the sake of not messing it up, you know, you want to leave well enough. No, I'm not going to leave well enough alone. I got to try to get that down just a little bit lower. Just a little bit. Okay. Okay, that is not it. I know you don't want to see a video of me fumbling with this Mighty hoop all day. It really isn't that difficult. Okay, so I think that's pretty centered. That's the center point right here. So I think that's pretty centered. And so now I'm going to take this to the hoop. I don't need to put, what is it called? Water soluble stabilizer over it, because there's nothing that's really going to get snagged. It has a good hoop. I don't think that it's going to shift too much. So I'm just going to take it to the hoop, put it on, and we're going to get it stitched out. Okay. Okay, so I am over here at the machine, and the more I look at this, the less this looks centered. It looks like it's up just a little too high, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna place the frame on the machine. Okay, and let me just make sure none of this is gonna start bumping or pulling or anything. And I'm just gonna tuck that up under there because nothing under there is gonna disturb it. Alrighty, so I've got the phone back in my hand now. I have the jacket on the machine, and I am going to come over here and get the design set up so that it can stitch out. Excuse all my junk, but I have a lot of stuff over there. Let's see, where am I at here? Yes, I want to delete all stitches. And I have my colors as I need them. So, okay, I'm going to hit set. We're going to use tubular 1, which in Tajima's mind, that is the 8x12 hoop, because there are no settings for the mighty hoop for this machine, okay? So when you use a mighty hoop, you have to trace and make sure that your design stays within the frame so that you don't mess up your machine, okay? If you mess up your machine because you used the mighty hoop and you didn't trace and everything, they're not going to pay for your machine to be repaired under your warranty because you're using a after factory frame, is what was explained to me. So make sure you trace if you're going to use one of these, okay? So anyways, I've got it on tubular 1. I'm going to hit set. I've got my design uploaded, and it's actually set up the way I need it to be because I need it to be facing down so I don't have to flip it. And so I have it so that it will trace from the center point. I'm going to hit set. I don't need to make any adjustments. And I'm going to hit trace. And once again, I'm looking at those crosshairs to make sure that it is not bumping my frame. Alrighty, so it didn't bump anything. I'm going to press start and we will let it stitch. Well, thread break. So let me get that thread break taken care of. Okay, I've got you back on the holder so I can have my hands free. I am going to hit start and it's going to start stitching with needle number 3. Uh-oh, what did I do? Thread detected, thread break detected. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, let's hit reset. I'm gonna hold that so that it'll cut the bobbin thread on the bottom. And let's see here. Ooh, bird nesting. So I've got to go through and see what is going on that's causing all of this mess up under here, because I really don't know what's causing it. So let's see here. Oh, you know what? I don't think my bobbin case was in there good. I checked my bobbin before I put this on, but after I took the sleeve off, and I don't think the bobbin was on good. So I got a whole bunch of mess up under there. So, because the bobbin is full, we're good with that. Where is my can of air at? Oh, right in my face. That's what happens when you have too much stuff. Let's see if I can. Angle it to blow that all out. So hopefully that does it for now. And so what I will do after I get done with this project, I'll take the needle plate off, make sure I clean all up under there, and it'll be time to oil it in a day or two. Okay, so let's see if that is what did it. It's a whole lot of shredded thread up under here. So I'm gonna go through and cut all of that. Yeah, it was the bobbin, because there is no bobbin thread on here. It happens. Things actually happen. This is why I will not embroider on customer supplied items. I have a handful of people that, yeah, y'all can bring something to me or ship it to me and I'll stitch it out. But in general, no ma'am, no sir. Okay, let's see how the top is looking. That'll be fine. So I'm going to put this back on the machine, and just to be sure that nothing is kind of odd or funny going on with the top thread, I'm gonna pull this stuff up here. To make sure nothing funny is going on with the top thread, I'm going to rethread as well, because you never know. And I hope that I can get this positioned so that I'm not obscuring your view. Okay, so it is number 3 that broke. That's all in the tread. And I'm actually just going through making sure it is all still going through the way it's supposed to be lined up. Then I'm going to pull that up under here. That's number 3. Pull it through here. Now I've got to loop it around this here loop. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I have to just use my little tweezers and shove it down in there. The threaders that come with the machine and that you buy from like Madame Sew and stuff, sometimes they work for me, but most of the time I feel like I'm wasting too much time trying to use them. So I do apologize, my hand is blocking the view, but I'm right-handed. Let's see here. Got me squatting. Okay. And now I'm going to use this here to pull it through. Okay, so that's there. And I'm going to loop it up here. I'm going to clip it. And I'm just going to take a peek again at this bobbin to make sure it is in there, because I must not have clamped it in good the last time. So let's see if that will work. What I want to do now, I'm going to go back to the beginning of these stitches, okay? I'm only 38 stitches in, so that's nothing, okay? Okay, so we're at the beginning now. Fingers crossed, we'll see if this stitches out this time. And this is actually one part of this project that would be real easy on the flatbed. Alrighty. We may be in business. So I'm just going to let that stitch out. Now it is stitching out the yellow thread. And the yellow part is going to be a fill stitch. So it's going to take a little bit of time. And I won't record the whole part of that stitching out. Alrighty, it started stitching the paws a little while ago and I forgot to press record, so I'm just going to let it record this stitching out. are not stitching this again. Okay. So this is what it's looking like. I do have to go through and cut those jump stitches because I forgot to change the jump stitch length. Now I still don't like this, so I'm thinking that this particular font down here is a font that I am not going to use because I don't like this. I'm not sure why my test stitch came out fine, but on this it didn't, and on the sleeve it didn't as well. So I'm just not sure what went on there. See where the yellow kind of shows? It almost makes me want to just use this as one color, but that defeats the point because I wanted this because it's two different colors. So I don't know about that. I'll see. And then I forgot I didn't change the red to blue or the white to blue, and then I was thinking about the red, changing that to white or something, because these are not his school colors. But I'll see how he likes it, and I may be redoing it. But before I do anything else, I do need to go into this machine and change the jump stitch length because I keep forgetting about it. So to do that, I'm going to go under settings. I'm going to go up here where it's that little needle thing. See, my jumps, I have that set at 6. I need to bring that back down to 3 so that it will actually cut at the smaller stitches. And I did that because with the longer satin stitches, the machine will think that they're jump stitches, and I'll be sitting there wondering why I've got all this shredded thread, and it's because the machine is literally just thinking that the long stitches are jump stitches. So I'm going to take this off of the hoop. Alrighty, I'm going to get that off the hoop and I'll clean it up and see how it turns out. Okay, so I took it off the hoop. I trimmed around the stabilizer because this is cutaway, so that's going to stay back there. If you prefer, you could trim it a little closer, get it a little bit smoother. Now this is the front. I still have to go through and clean up those jump stitches, but and it's got a little bit of hoop burn right there, but I'll just try to press that with the steam iron and see if that comes out. So I'm going to clean up as many of these jump stitches as I can, and we'll see how it really turns out when I get it cleaned up. Okay guys, so this is not how it's supposed to look. The sleeve, I like the sleeve. It could definitely be a little bit lower, but this is the first time stitching on a sleeve with this machine, so I know now to hoop it lower so that it can get lower on the sleeve but not on the cuff. And I forgot to change the white paws to match the blue paw here because those were supposed to be blue paws. And yeah, I should have just done white as the border instead of the red, but this is a first stitch on this. I'm gonna see how they turn out. I'm gonna get the design the way I really need it to be, do a few test stitches on some scrap fabric before I waste another zip up jacket. So I will catch you all in the next one. I am going to bed now.